It's a casual Friday night. You get home from work and you're exhausted from your long day. So you put on some food for dinner, and as you wait, you decide to go relax on the couch. As millions of us do globally, you decide to sit down, scroll some social media to pass some time and catch up. And then you come across a friend's post. She's a nurse at a local hospital, and at first your heart is warmed as you see the cutest baby, probably one she's caring for in the NICU. But then you have to blink. No, this can't be right. You're reading it wrong. You reread it. But you were right. It says exactly what you thought it said. I wish I could let this one fall. Today's case is going to be a hard one. It deals with incidents and the ideation of harming infants. If this is going to be a trigger for you, I really suggest you maybe skip this video, as it may be a really hard one to watch. And you know what? We can catch up in the next video. I have to say this case was a hard one for me to research as a mother. So we've all heard of the infamous Lucy Letby, the nurse who killed for attention here in the UK. Well, today's case is eerily similar and shows similar patterns, except this one happens in South Korea and is currently unfolding, and no one has been found guilty yet in a court of law. That being said, let's explore the case of the South Korean NICU nurse with an urge to hurt her patients. I wonder how many of you guys have been to Daegu in South Korea. It's actually one of the third largest cities in South Korea. It's surrounded by beautiful sprawling landscape and lush mountains. It's in this idyllic city in the Daegu Catholic University Medical Center where today's case actually takes place. DCMC is actually one of South Korea's leading healthcare institutions, renowned for its advanced medical services and cutting-edge patient care. The hospital is known for hiring some of the best minds in the medical field, which makes what happened even more disturbing. It all started in April 2025, and it all starts with a nurse who was working at the NICU in the DCMC. The nurse, who has not been named due to South Korea's privacy laws, was charged with taking care of several newborns in intensive care. Now, for those of you who don't know, the NICU is for babies in critical condition after being born. Babies are vulnerable at the best of times, but these nurses are literally holding on to the life of newborns in their hands. Parents are trusting them with their literal everything to keep them safe and help them. However, this nurse seemed to have other thoughts. This nurse, while taking care of the babies, was taking photos of the children without the consent of the parents and actually posting it to her Instagram. Now, if that isn't disturbing enough alone, the captions she put alongside them were, well, horrifying. Social media users saw them in their feeds, disgusted, and quickly flooded social media forums with the images. The images and captions are disturbing to say the least. In one, she was pictured holding the baby saying, "I'm itching to let you fall." In the other, she holds another baby saying, "Why the evil theory is true. He's been whining ever since I came into work, asking to be held alone while all the others are quiet." Another one shows a tiny baby in an incubator, which she captioned, "Looking at you acting badly. I guess you can be discharged tomorrow. But why did you even come here? I got angry as soon as I got here and suppressed it." The baby was on breathing tubes. And another one shows a tiny preemie all hooked up to breathing apparatus, which she captioned, "Like, you're really ill-tempered." In another post, it shows a baby lying in a dangerous position, face down, which we all know can cause suffocation. And she captioned it, "I didn't try to comfort you when you were crying, but now you're quiet, so I guess we're okay." And another shows a newborn holding on to her collar as best they can, and she sickeningly captioned it, "I'm about to fall." With this, users who were quite rightly shocked and disgusted took to social media forums to spread awareness and demand this nurse be stopped. They flooded Nava, which is one of social media's social networking platforms, to convey their disgust. One user said, "They are not just babies, but most of them are born with a weak and low birth weight, and they are separated from their parents. Her nursing license should be revoked." Another expressed, isn't it normal for babies to express themselves? Abusing a baby who can't speak is really a psychopathic move. It wasn't long before this hit the news and parents found out. Could you imagine being a parent of a newborn who you leave in the NICU to save their life with nurses you thought you trusted? Then you're scrolling online to see your baby being threatened and abused. It's just horrifying on so many levels. For the other parents who weren't aware, it wasn't long before they were informed of the incident. Their pain and anger must have been apparent. No one imagines this would happen to their babies in the safest place they're supposed to be, a hospital. The hospital itself really didn't have much to say for themselves when confronted with what happened. The medical director admitted to the hospital's mistakes and said the nurse in question has been fired and they are investigating the incident, but beyond this, not much else has been done, which in my opinion is a cop-out, a way to protect themselves. Funny how they're so quick to protect the hospital and not the babies within it, but as I said, that's my opinion and speaks volumes to me about those who are actually in charge of running the hospital. Not long after, one of the fathers of one of the babies shown decided this was not enough and the nurse should rightly so face legal consequences. He promptly filed a police complaint against both the nurse and the hospital president since the controversy came to light. The Daegu Metropolitan Police Agency has booked both individuals on suspicion of child abuse and to this day is currently investigating the case. The father said, "I couldn't stand it between 11 p.m. and 12 p.m. the day before, so I went to the hospital," adding, "The medical affairs department said, 'I'm sorry, it's abuse.'" He also said, "There's been no action or official apology from the hospital so far. I think there are many more victims, not just our babies." He also said, "The hospital only repeats that it's impossible to confirm the fact of the nurse's abuse because there's no CCTV in this unit. This is mental abuse inflicted upon the child. Point blank, period." He then went on to say, "The hospital continues to accuse the incident of the individual deviations of the nurses. The professors, associate professors and the director of the neonatal unit have admitted to their mistakes and apologised, but only the hospital does not admit it. This problem is not the fault of the perpetrator nurse alone. There is also a hospital that failed to manage the nurses and betrayed the trust of the parents who trusted the hospital and entrusted their babies to them." The story, which was broken by Daegu Newsys reporter Park Jun, who published both evidence of 6 photos, now claims suspicions have been raised that there are more nurses who have abused other newborns. That's right, more babies have been subjected to this behaviour and abuse, and more nurses seem to be involved. This is a systemic problem. However, again, the hospital has not given the victims' families much more information other than a very neutral statement saying they have identified 2 other nurses who shared the abusive post on their social media accounts and is currently investigating whether they were directly involved in the mistreatment. Wait, 2 more? 2 more is too many in my opinion. This left netizens wondering how many more are involved. How deep is this issue rooted within the medical profession? How many more innocent babies have been subjected to this? And most importantly, why? Why would anyone do this to innocent babies? As of now, we still currently have very little information to go off. We have no official statements from the accused or the suspected. The police are currently drip feeding to the media, with KBS being the first to report 6 days ago that there are more nurses and babies involved than previously thought. The crazy thing is, this isn't the first time babies and infants have been the target of nurses. And let me tell you, it's not just isolated to Korea. In the UK, there was Beverly Arlett in the 90s who unalived 4 children, wanted to play God, and then there was her predecessor, the nurse serial killer Lucy Letby, who alived 7 babies in 2015. In the USA, they had Janine Jones, who was known as the killer nurse. She gave up to 60 babies a lethal injection in the 80s. The news hit Korean netizens so hard as it came out shortly after another case in which another nurse in South Korea had targeted infants. Only a few years back, a nurse in 2023 was caught on CCTV violently shaking a baby to death. And a few years before, in 2014, another nurse stole a baby from a hospital. Then abandoned it outside. Luckily, that child survived, though we can't speak on the trauma the infant may have endured as a result of the nurse's actions. The questions still ringing in everyone's mind with each case of children being harmed by nurses from netizens is why. Anyone of sound mind cannot understand how you could ever hurt such a tiny being. Many have speculated on a variety of reasons as to why nurses kill. Some have speculated psychological issues may be at play. Munchausen's by proxy is the most common conclusion for netizens and medical professionals. What this would effectively mean is it was Munchausen's by proxy that they seek attention and sympathy from others when the tragedy affects them. Some have even speculated it could purely be down to either a thrill or self-seeking narcissism. Now, if you ask me, I'm not a religious person, but when I hear cases like this, I think that some people are just pure evil, deeply rotten to their core. And in my opinion, these nurses who harm infants love the power they have over them. They're helpless individuals. Babies are totally and utterly defenseless, and these evil humans prey upon them. I personally say lock them up, each and every single one of them. In my opinion, it's not enough to just fire them. They will still be in the outside world and pose a risk to every child and infant they come across. Netizens also pointed out that the privacy laws have to change, especially when any incident involves a minor. We need more transparency on who these perpetrators are. Allowing them to hide behind anonymity only puts the public in more danger. I could not agree more, especially in cases like this. She did not allow the babies and infants anonymity when she was posting them all over social media with threats of abuse. She doesn't deserve to hide behind laws and anonymity. But alas, I am not the judiciary in South Korea, and for now, all we can do is wait to see what the outcome will be and keep pressure on the courts for justice for every infant and family affected by these sick nurses' actions. As always, thank you so much for watching. I am new at this and hopefully I'm getting the hang of it. Today's case was a hard one for many, I'm sure, just to even learn about it. So please take some time to decompress, protect your mental health. If you have any more cases, please drop them in the comments below. I will do my best to be sure to feature them. I reply to all my comments and I get super excited to interact with you guys, so don't be shy. I'm aiming to have at least one video a week for you guys, but if I can, maybe even more. That's all from me. Stay safe, look after yourself, because I think you're all the bee's knees. See you in the next one.